Hi, you're on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. Subscribe to my channel as well as my Facebook page. There we can chat. The link is in the description of the video. Thank you. Enjoy watching. Story 1. Mael, 60F, claims I, 23F, am stealing her grandchild and son, and I'm not sure if I should give her another chance. So I, 23F, and my partner, 22M, just had a baby boy. We moved out of our apartment and into my in-laws' basement, 60F, and 52M, so we could pay lower rent and save for a down payment. I had known both of them for 2 years. Things were going okay at first. After the baby was born, Mael started acting like he was her property, and if I didn't let her hold him for hours she got angry and would make snarky remarks and would complain to my partner. Since they speak German, and I don't, she'd even do it to my face, telling her husband and my partner I was stealing her grandchild from her ECT. Well, a few weeks later she got a cold and I didn't let her hold him BC, I didn't want him to get sick. The next day I left him in his little bed and went to the bathroom and came out to her, touching his face and hands while leaning close and talking to him. I told her I didn't want her to do that, and a few hours later she did it again. I decided to not take him back upstairs until she was better BC, I didn't want to have a sick baby. That made her start to lose it. She got angry and yelled at me and my partner. So we decided to give her some room to cool off, which made her madder. When we tried to talk it out, she started screaming and yelling I was a snake in the grass and only married her son BC, I wanted his money and was going to run off. And my partner was going to K*LL his relationship with her BC, he was defending me. She also said that if she saw again, she was going to do something to me. So I stopped coming upstairs when I was alone BC, I didn't want to have her yell at me. I was essentially trapped in the basement and unable to go upstairs to cook food, wash laundry, or wash bottles. She started constantly stomping when my partner and her husband were gone to try to make me miserable, and even came downstairs to threaten me. She knocked on the door, which I had locked, otherwise she'd just have walked in, and continued kicking till eventually I came to the door. She started to try to argue with me, but I said I didn't want to talk unless my partner was present. She got even angrier and threatened me we were gonna force her to do something crazy. That was the final straw. We decided we were gonna move and started planning to move to a city 2 hours away where my parents lived. We didn't tell anyone BC, we didn't want her to lose it even more while we tried to pack and leave. My partner bought boxes and tried to pass them to me through the basement window, but her dog started barking and she went outside and saw what we were doing. After my partner got down, we locked the door like I had been for the last week. She came down and started pounding on it and screaming we were stealing her grandchild and I was evil and how she hated me. Then when we didn't open the door, she threw pictures of my partner and the baby down the stairs at the door, along with a small bed I had left up there in the kitchen. It was Tuesday night, started packing, and then my partner went to talk to his dad while his mom was showering and asked him to talk with his mother and ask her to chill. She didn't actually go for a shower though, and was eavesdropping from the top of the stairs. She started screaming at my partner that he was dead to her, she hated him, never wanted to talk to him again, and wished he'd die ECT. She then finished with shouting we had till Thursday to get out. Well, then Thursday night came. I was almost done packing and my partner just got home from work and came down. He forgot to lock the door, and she came down and started yelling at my partner in German and said she was only going to let us in the house to move the boxes out. At this point I was still bleeding from giving birth and I had started bleeding even more from packing and lifting boxes. He wasn't responding to her, just shaking and almost crying, so I interrupted and told her to leave. She was furious and said I had no right to tell her what to do, this was her house, we had been paying rent. I kept insisting and said if she didn't leave I'd call the police BC, she was trying to prevent us from leaving and verbally abusing us and intruding. She called her husband down and he started yelling at us too, so I called the police then and there. They hurried upstairs fast after that. We finished packing and the police arrived. The cops managed to convince them to let my brothers and dad into the house to help us move everything. However, my in-laws said we could only have an 1.5 hours BC, they needed to go to bed soon. That meant we had to be out by 9 p.m., but which low-key exposed them BC, they went to bed at 11, they were just trying to make it difficult. We got 80% of our stuff out. The next day my partner and I returned to get the last of the stuff. They told me I wasn't allowed on their property, so I waited on the road and my partner had to move the rest of the stuff himself while they followed him and harassed him the whole time. After that my MIL sent my partner lots of random texts saying I was controlling him, he needed to grow some balls, he needed to take our son and leave me. If he ever wanted to see her again it would have to be with only him and our son, not me ECT. Every few days. Well, a month later some important mail of mine was sent to their house, and since I had an appointment in that city we were gonna go get it. Even though we clearly told his parents we were there only to get the mail, they manipulated what we said to sound like we were gonna bring the baby. I didn't want to be the bad guy, so I said okay, let's meet at a mall, even though I was incredibly nervous about the idea. Well, when we got there they 100% ignored me, and only spoke in German. Not even 5 minutes later my partner asked them to speak in English so I could also understand, and she lost it. She started yelling in German at my partner in the mall, saying all the same things as before. When he told her to stop speaking about me like that, so she stepped closer and started yelling in his face. It's important to mention my partner was the one who was pushing the stroller. Up to this point I had been clutching his hand and battling an anxiety attack, but I had had enough. I told her to stop, this was inappropriate. She yelled at me to shut up, she didn't want to speak to me, so I repeated myself and added, don't yell in front of my baby. She then started swearing and calling me a word used for a female dog, and we walked away as she shoulder my partner was D to her. After that I told my partner I want nothing to do with them. If he wants a relationship with her that's fine, but our baby and me won't be involved. He said that we should try again in February, but I don't want to. Not only has his mom demonstrated she doesn't have our son's best interests at heart, but she will also continue to act this way even in a public place. And his dad has demonstrated will never confront her, or do anything. I'm not sure if I should give her another chance. Am I overreacting? Should I be more forgiving? Can I even work on this type of relationship? TLDR, MIL low-key drove us all way and still wants to see Grandchild. I'm not sure I should allow that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.